Hey guys, Happy New Year. I know that there's some debate on if the New Year is this right now or the New Year is when the flowers bloom in March. I think that you could treat both as a new year. You could treat either as a new year. You could treat every day as a new year, which I guess is just a new day. I hope that you are at the very most taking it easy on yourself. I think that I had a moment or I am currently having a moment where I'm being kind of hard on myself on what a new year means and what I want to do and what I want to accomplish, and looking back at last year and being kind of disappointed in what happened last year. But sometimes there is a year where you just need to hibernate and you need to breathe and you need room to grow and you need room to reflect. And, capitalism really breeds the idea that you really constantly need to be like running on this hamster wheel towards something you're not even sure that you want or you desire. I think that I am in a space in my life where I'm really trying to figure out what I want my life to look like. And ideally, I know what I want my life to look like. I want my life to be happy. I think that capitalism and like social media makes it look like you can't have a happy life if you're working a regular job or if you're just a regular person and no one knows you. And it might be kind of ironic I'm saying this as I'm making content, but I don't make content with the intentions of being big. I think being big or super famous is actually terrifying to me. But its core for me, it's just a hobby. Like it's just another hobby. So, but if for you making content is your dream life, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that sometimes like it's looked as if having a regular job is really shameful, or as if you choose the red pill or the blue pill and the Matrix. And I'm saying these analogies and I've never watched the Matrix, but that is a goal. Follow me on Letterboxd, like shameless plug. But I want to watch a lot more movies, and I think because of I'll be watching a lot more movies. I will want to talk about a lot more movies with people who have watched those movies. So if you're interested, maybe we'll bring back movie nights in the Discord once I have a community again. Anyway, Happy New Year. I also hope that you guys have taken a lot of lessons for 2025. Like I think that if anything, you don't have to be super locked in on making a vision board or reflecting. Well, actually, you don't have to be super locked in at making a vision board or like making up 1,000 goals. Like I think that a lot of people get really wrapped up on like making goals without making sure that these goals are sustainable or actionable. Don't just make a goal and be like, well, I want to do this. Make a goal and be like, okay, how do I get here? I think one of my lessons too from I won't even say from 2025, but from my history and like experience with making goals, I'm a very much a goal setting person. And I do this, I tend to make my goals actionable. I try to break them down into quarters or like steps that I should be taking pretty frequently to reach these goals. Do they always work? No. But it's better than just saying, I want to do this without any plan to get there. So I think that if you're going to make goals, make sure that you're making them actionable. Make sure you break them down. So if one of your goals is to, let's use content creating again as an example, because I'm talking on YouTube to you right now. If you want to become a YouTuber and one of your goals is to be consistent on YouTube, I don't think being consistent on YouTube is a good goal. I think you need to be more specific. Be specific, because being consistent to me on YouTube and being consistent on YouTube to you can look very different. What does consistency look like to you? For me, I think being consistent on YouTube looks like one to YouTube video a month. But if consistent for you means one YouTube video a week, or one YouTube video a day, which is crazy, I think you need to define those things. I think you need to break it down. I think you need to make sure you're looking back at your goals more than one time a year. Don't make the goals in January, and the next time you look at your goals is when you're making the next year's goals. Make sure you're looking at these things. Make sure you're reflecting on them. Making sure you're going back to them and changing them when they need to be changed, or altering them, or being like, actually, I don't think I need that, or I don't want that anymore, or I want this, but I kind of want it in this way now. Like, just make sure you're going back and doing those things. I think that's even more important than making the goals to begin with. At any period in which you celebrate a new year, it's very important that you look back and reflect at the lessons that you took from the last year. And I think that I'm still in a space where I'm still trying to figure out what exactly I took from last year. I think last year was just such a really hard year for me, emotionally, mostly. I think just my job was like maybe the one good thing going for me last year. Like struggling with relationships and friendships and just life and family and shit, like even money struggles. It was just a really hard year on me. And I think I took a lot of time kind of like balled up and just experiencing a lot emotionally. And I think that the biggest lesson for me is I want to be more of a selfish person. I think that I'm a very selfless person. I think I'm very much a giving person. I think that I am always focused on the needs of other people, like my family and my friends and people that I'm in relationships with. And I think that anything that last year has shown me is that people will always choose themselves. They will always, and I mean that derogatorily and not derogatorily. I think that is something that I am envious of when I watch people do things when they choose themselves in situations. Even in situations where it's kind of like you're crazy for choosing yourself. Not crazy, but like it's the wrong option. Like it's the evil option. But sometimes if you're always worried about what's going on for someone else, or like how can you change yourself for someone else, or how can you fit a mold for someone else, you will end up losing. Like you almost always do. And I feel like it's kind of pessimistic in a way, but I think that the lesson there is to be selfish, but in a good way. Like just make sure that your happiness is a priority. It doesn't have to be a priority above everyone else's. Well, it should be. Actually, let me rephrase that. It should be a priority above everyone else's. But I mean that like you don't have to like stomp on everyone else to just like focus on yourself. If you have to make a choice to make yourself happy, even if it's going to make someone else upset, you just have to make that choice, babes. And I think that that is something that I need to be more of. I struggle with setting my own boundaries. I struggle with communicating my true feelings. I think sometimes I lie to people about how I feel just so that they don't feel bad, even if what they did was harmful for me. I think I protect a lot of people's feelings, and I think that that is a disservice to myself and a disservice to my own feelings. So I think in 2026, I want to be a person who takes up space and isn't like my feelings are just as important as anyone else's. That is my 2025 lesson. And on to the goals. I have a lot of goals for 2026. Actually, I don't want to say a lot, but I do have a lot of pillars of my life that I have goals for. But I'm just going to share the art ones because this is my art channel. I know I got a little philosophical. I don't know if philosophical is the right word, but I know I got a little yappy. I know I'm someone who yaps. Like I yapped a lot. I know that like one of the hardest things looking back and reflecting on my past years that I didn't really do much art. I didn't draw. I didn't paint. My my iPad's damn near broken because it was dead most of the year. The extent of my creativity last year has been pottery, which was like the second half of the year. And then for the first 3 months, I did my Instagram collages. That's the extent of my creativity. I haven't really done much art or designing outside of that, which is very sad. And I talked about it a little bit in my last video, but it's like I really want to I just want to make more art. I just want to make more art and have more evidence of all of the ideas that I have in my head and all the visions I have in my head. I have so many ideas in my head, like, and it's not like I ever have a lack of ideas, visions, or things that I want to paint or things that I feel like I want to do. It's just always been either a lack of energy because, you know, mental health or just things that were going on last year. I think I just want to carve more time in my life to do art again like I did in 2024 and just prior years to that. I really love creating. I love being a creative. I love being able to just make the things that I have in my head, and there's so many ideas I want to see to fruition, which it's just like I need to finish ideas before I can start working on other ideas. I just have so many and I want to share them. So, and the only way I can share them with y'all is if I start doing them, right? Right. And it was just so hard for me to create from a space of lack. And I was just lacking so much last year. And I think that I look forward to this year. This year is a lot more abundant for me in terms of just finding little pockets of joy and combating being more proactive in combating my mental health. Every time I start talking about my mental health makes me cry because if you can pick up what I'm putting down, I just battled some really dark moments last year that I won't even say that I'm completely past, but I'm trying to move past them, because if I don't, it's hard to be like, there's so many things I want to do,
in my life, but my brain doesn't feel like it really wants to be here. But I want to be here to see those things. I think that it would help my mental health more if I force myself to be more creative, finding ways that I can more proactively distract myself in more meaningful ways. I think that last year I talked about this before on my channel too, that I used gaming a lot to distract for myself from how I was feeling mentally. But because I play mostly competitive gaming, that's not really a solution. Competitive gaming also makes me want to die. I just want more to show for what I'm at my doing. So I think that like I just want to get back into other things that have something as a result. Like if I go back to making art, then I have something that is a result of what I'm feeling at that time. And it's something that is like tangible to me. Not for nothing, I do want to hit Grandmaster and Marvel Rivals, but that's not tangible. You know what I mean? But making a piece of art is, or making a sculpture is, or like making collage is. That just means more to me. And I want to pour myself more into things that I know mean a lot more to me than a Marvel Rivals rank, you know? Have I even mentioned a goal yet besides me wanting to go back to making art? No. But that is the biggest goal. Like the biggest goal, not fuck the rest of these goals, but if I accomplish none of these actual tangible goals besides creating more, I would have achieved what I wanted to do. And I think that that's also what I was trying to talk about earlier. Set these goals, but don't be so hard on yourselves. Don't make these big goals that you'll just be disappointed by at the end of the year that you didn't reach them because they were just so unattainable. And I don't want to say that anything is unattainable. I think a lot of things are very attainable. You need to make sure that you're matching your capacity. And if you're not matching your capacity or your capabilities, then don't set yourself up for failure. And I think that sometimes I do that. And I think that setting the bar in hell sometimes and giving yourself those little dopamine rewards for like meeting the goals little by little does a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Being able to be like, oh my gosh, I accomplished that. Even if it's small, I accomplished that. Like, fuck yeah, I am great. It makes it that easier that you're making those tiny little steps in the right direction. That there's a picture that shows this very well, that it's like a ladder. It's a consistently it's also like a consistency thing. You making these tiny steps make it so much easier for you to be consistent. And me also talking makes me remind me that I also want to reread that Habits book, Atomic Habits. It was actually a good read. I'm not gonna lie. Like sometimes I really don't like nonfiction. I really don't like the self-help propaganda books. Atomic Habits actually got some real good peek in it. Some of them I do. Like habit stacking is a really good thing to do. Once you start one habit, it's really easy to like add another habit. And I think that's also really important that you don't shame yourselves. And I think that's also what I'm getting at. Like shame is not I seen a tweet that was saying that when you're trying to motivate yourself or be like disciplined, you shouldn't come from a place of shame. You know, you deserve a clean space. You deserve nice teeth. You deserve healthy teeth. You deserve a healthy body. You deserve the joy that creating art brings you, like just changing your frame, changing your mind frame and the way that you view things. I used to think that it was not that I used to think that it was stupid. I can be a pretty pessimistic person, so I thought like, oh, it's stupid. So optimistic and so annoyingly optimistic. It really does help. Even if you think it's stupid while you're doing it, I'm pretty sure I thought it was stupid while I was doing it for a while, but you just start to frame a lot of things in better ways. Every time I miss the train, I'm like, damn, I could be angry about this, but I like to tell myself I wasn't meant to be on the train. Someone was probably going to try to rob me. And maybe it kind of works in the opposite way because I have generalized anxiety disorders. So I don't think that like everything is a divine timing to save me from getting robbed. You know, like I wasn't meant to be on that train. Even if nothing bad was going to happen, I just wasn't meant to be on that train. Or I just wasn't meant to get that job, or I just wasn't meant to do this, or I just wasn't meant for that person because this person's meant. You know what I mean? Like just because that saying, just because the door is closed, this window doesn't open or something like that. That same vibes, the same energy. I still haven't mentioned a goal yet, have I? No, I was talking about like creating is the biggest goal for me. I know that like mentally I've been dealing with. I think I should just make a YouTube video talking about my mental health. Not to put my mental health on blast, but just to have a conversation about, yeah, I'm just gonna have to, because I think this is a long conversation to have within itself. That's why I keep coming back to it. But I think a lot of people view mental health as something that's temporary, and I've been dealing with like depression, I swear, as long as I can remember. Explained to someone before that I feel like my baseline of joy isn't even joy. It's just less sad. So like when I'm having a good time, I'm just less sad, or I'm just not thinking about
what's going on in my brain as much, or I'm just really distracted. Because I can remember times in my life where I'm like, looking back, I can think like I had a good year. I was pretty happy that year. I was like, or I had like a lot of things that like, made me excited. In my head, I'm thinking of 2023, but I think I was just happy in general too. But I think that if I go back, like if I physically teleported back to 2023, was I happy? Yeah, but I'm sure most of that year I was also fucking party like fucking sad because that's just how I am mentally. I don't have a lot of hindsight to like living in the moment. I think that's also why I have such bad memory. I struggle with that. I struggle a lot with like just being present because I'm an anxious person and because I'm just depressed. Like I'm just trying to survive. Okay, next moment, next moment, next moment. And I don't really live in the moment because living in the moment means acknowledging how sad I am. I'm talking about it because it shouldn't be a stigma to talk about where you are mentally. Because I think that even though I am a depressed person, or I don't want to say I'm a depressed person, I'm a person with depression. I don't want to look like I as someone with depression and anxiety, it sucks to be feeling like a person that's just like a Debbie Downer, or like I don't want to always be the person that's always sad. Anyway, just I feel like people know me for my art and for my brain and my creativity and how that just pours out of me, and I just want to be more of that person again. My biggest goal outside of that, like the umbrella, is to create more under that. Or is it a pyramid? Okay, I think it's more of like a pyramid, like the foundation of my pyramid to create, just make art, but above that, like the next tier in the pyramid is to post on YouTube, because I want to share it. I want to talk to other people who create art. I want to meet people who make art. I just want to have a community of people who are artists and create. And I feel like take a shot every time I say art this video. I don't know. I just really enjoy creating content. I think making YouTube videos is my most enjoyable form of that. I want to post on YouTube. I want to be consistent. And for me, I also just have so many YouTube video ideas. Like, it'd be a waste for y'all to not see these YouTube video ideas and for me not to see them come to fruition. It would just be a waste of such a creative mind. Like, not to suck my own. You know what I mean? Like, it would just be a waste. So, like, I just have like damn near 2 years worth of YouTube content, and I just want to show them, because a lot of these ideas that I have for art and things I want to create just make sense as YouTube videos because they're more like fun, or they're challenges, rather than just like I'm making art to put in museums. You know what I mean? Which is also a goal of mine, I feel like, eventually. But I also, a lot of artists, you'll learn when you're working with artists, because I've worked with artists previously when I was in college, they be old, and like not derogatory, like positively, like they took their whole life to perfect their craft and now they're in museums. So I don't want to rush myself to I do want to get into, I think that I had a goal of getting my art into a museum or like an art show last year or 2 years ago. I don't remember. But it was it's been a goal of mine that I want to, but now I've reframed it to like maybe by 30, just have it in an art show. Maybe not in a museum. Like, I'm not going to be in the MFA anytime soon, but in an art show, like a little art show. But I do need to develop my art. I feel like I want my art to be a lot better before I start submitting stuff again. In terms of like my goal of posting on YouTube, I want to post on YouTube once a month. My bar. Okay, this is how I want y'all to set up your goals. Give y'all a couple of levels to these. Like, give yourself some levels. Like, my bare minimum, like, bars in hell goal is to post once a month. Like, that's bar is in hell. Like, life is beating my ass. Bar in hell. Like, drag myself across the finish line, worm style. Like, bar in hell is once a month. If I can do that, I'll be so content. That is bar in hell. My ideal goal is more like twice a month. And my dream goal, if I'm really on that shit, is once a week. But that is also considering that I can create art that fast, which I can't. Like, I'm just not in that brain. But I think maybe that is something I could work towards the end of the year. Maybe I start off the year with one video a month, and then towards the end I'm posting 4 times a month. We'll see. But my bare minimum is once a month. I think I can do 2 a month, to be honest. I can get to my ideal goal. But I think it's really helpful if y'all set up your goals in 3 different things. Like, bare minimum, ideal, and then fucking dream goal. Like if I'm killing that shit. And I think that you can work yourself up to killing that shit. Like you don't have to start, and you probably, not that you shouldn't start at killing it, but like habit stack. Like habit stack. Like it gets easier to do something once you already start doing it. Even if I also, it's a saying. I don't know if it's a saying, but I think it's also a tweet that I seen. Do things half-assed. Do things 1%. Do things like just show up. You don't understand how much value there is in just showing up. And it feels stupid, but sometimes it really helps to just show up. Like if you're one of your goals is to work out, just walk and make it a goal. Not even don't even make your first goal to work out. Make your first goal walking into the gym. Even if you walk into the gym and be like, nah, and you walk right back out, you walked into the gym. Like you did it. Like you did it. So it makes it a lot easier to then walk into the gym and, do a little stretch and see how you feel. Or just show up. Like if your goal is to read more, even if you just read a page a day, you're going to get to that page that's going to make you read a whole book in a day. Like a book will do that to you. So if you just start with, I'm just going to read a page, or I'm just going to read a paragraph, like, oh, my best friend, that's a great example. My best friend is writing a book right now. And I used to tell her, girl, she'd be like, she would just find it hard to like sit down and write for long periods of time at this period in her life. And I was just like, just write a sentence. If you don't, at the very least, if you don't feel like doing nothing, write a sentence a day. And she would do that. And a lot of the days she would just write one sentence. But then she would have those days that she sat down and she wrote pages. You do it half-assed and you give yourself the opportunity to show up fully when you have the capacity to show up fully, or you have the confidence to show up fully. And don't use that as a way to enable yourself. Don't enable yourself. But show up, do it half-assed if that's all you have the capacity to do, and then try again tomorrow. It's more about, building it up, building up that confidence, building up that capacity, just proving to yourself that you are capable of showing up for yourself. And I think that does so much more than just setting this really big goal and then getting disappointed every day that you don't do it. Be easy on yourself. Take it easy on yourself. Give yourself grace. My second biggest goal, because I think that I've struggled with this because I've started it twice. I want to complete an art challenge. Any art challenge, just one art challenge I want to complete. I started the 100 heads challenge. I got 10 heads in. I wasn't doing 10 heads a day though, but I think that that's the only way I can brush through that fucking challenge is if I actually sit down and do a significant amount of heads a day. I might have to do like 5 heads a day. I don't think I could do 10 heads a day just because it just takes me so long to draw, but maybe I will just to force myself to draw faster. Or Inktober. I started Inktober and I already dumbed down Inktober for myself. And instead of doing like 31 full ink drawings, I did took the word and thought of painting ideas for each thing. And I came up with some really cool drawings, really cool sketches, and really good ideas for like future paintings. I'm going to do either the 100 Heads Challenge or Inktober. Actually, I just want to do 100 of something challenge. I was also thinking of doing 100 urban sketches because I really like urban sketches. If you watch any of my other videos, I think I have 2 videos of me urban sketching because I really like urban sketching. My third goal is to conceptualize and make a ceramic sculpture, just one. I'm taking a break from ceramics classes right now until March, so I gotta think about what I want to make. I don't want to keep making bowls and cups and plates. Well, I do, because I do want to make my own dining set. But I want to think of something that is more artistic and more sculptural. But I do think I have an idea already. My fourth goal is to finish some of my unfinished projects that I've had over the years that are just kind of sitting around. I need to make a cohesive list of which ones that count as unfinished that I want to finish. I have a sculpture that's for one of my friends. I have a Miles Morales painting. Actually, I might not have as many as I think. I maybe have like a handful of things, maybe like 5 things that I consider projects that are unfinished that I really want to finish. Oh, 6. They're mostly paintings. I do want to do one of those videos where I finish a bunch of my unfinished art, but that'll probably be more like springtime. And that was the last goal I've written down, but I'm trying to think if there's any last other goals when it comes to art that I want to do. You know what I kind of want to do this year? When Sunburn came out, I think Sunburn came out in 2023, summer of 2023. When I say Sunburn is an album that I don't know how to describe it, but that album has changed. That album has changed the way I listen to music. I don't think I've listened to music the way I used to listen to music since I've listened to Sunburn, because I love Sunburn so bad. I used to just make playlists. I used to be a playlist demon, and I would like find new songs, put a new song in a playlist, and then wear that playlist out. And then I would find a new song, make a new playlist, and then make a new playlist that matched that vibe over and over again. So I would have these playlists for different seasons of my life. But then I listened to Sunburn. Sunburn, I just usually I'll listen, like if my favorite artist just drops an album, I'll listen to the I'll listen to the full album a couple of times, but then I'll pick out, usually I don't have more than a couple favorite songs, and then I'll put those favorite songs on my playlist and then do the playlist thing. But Sunburn, I like, there's not one song off Sunburn I do not like. Let me pull up Sunburn. Oh, to be honest, I would argue there isn't a Dominic Fike song I don't like either. So that is why he's one of my favorite artists. There's not one Dominic Fike song I don't like. But I think when I listened to Sunburn, I was like, there is not one song on this album that I do not like. I think I could argue Dancing in the Courthouse, but Dancing in the Courthouse really grew on me. I listened to it in order from top to bottom. I wish I could pull up my stats. Like, I wish. Anyway, I've listened to that album a disgusting amount of times because when this album came out, it was so good that, like, I just put this album on repeat for months. I promise you, I didn't let this album up until he dropped 14 minutes. I didn't let this album breathe until he dropped 14 minutes. 14 minutes came out May of 2024. I did not let Sunburn breathe until May of 2024, and Sunburn came out in July of 2023. I don't like to listen to playlists anymore. I don't like to listen to mixed songs. That's what happened. See, I went from listening to Sunburn. I didn't let off Sunburn until 14 minutes came out. I didn't let off Dominic Fike, period, until Crash came out. And when Crash came out, I was still listening to Dominic Fike. It was just Crash was the main girly pop. And then While We Wait 2 came out, and then that was all I was listening to until into December, bro. Not into December, until like September. And then after While We Wait, I think it was fucking K1's album, a single here and there if I really like the vibes. But I'm just an albums person right now. Maybe we can get into that because I started this whole tangent as a yapper. I started this whole tangent because Dominic Fike's album fundamentally changed the way I listen to music, but I just love that album so bad. Like that album changed the way I listen to music, and I just love the album. I loved the themes of the album. I liked what he was talking about. It was a good listen, and it felt like you were listening. I don't know. It just felt like you got a peek into his life, and which that was what the album is. It's about him. It's about his life and about Florida and about him growing up. Like that's what it is. And it felt like a really good peek into his life, and it just felt like a good, cohesive work of art. And I just got really inspired by that album that I want to create a painting for each song on the album. I've planned out the paintings. I have some of the paintings already planned out for each song and what they've made me feel, and what they made me think of when I was listening to them, and like my own meanings that I've created, my own attachments to them. And it's also a saying that as an artist, if you have an inspiration, you have a feeling, you should act on it immediately. And I think as I move forward through life, I want to be more of an artist that when I have a feeling and an inspiration, I want to act on it immediately. I'm more of a person. I'm going to write down this idea and I'm going to get to it after I get through all the 10,000 other ideas I have. I think that I want to be more of a person that acts on an idea when I have it and finish it. Like use that momentum of me being so excited about an idea to like see it through the end. I think that I can make that a goal this year though. Maybe that's my last goal, like my least important goal, my least focused on goal. Act on goals, not act on goals, act on art ideas when I have them and immediately. I'm talking about this Dominic Fike thing because I'm like, I need to start doing that. I want to start making those paintings. I want to create them. I think they would look so beautiful hung up in my future apartment, my future house. And I think I'm going to add Dominic Fike paintings and acting on creativity urges when you feel them. Act on them immediately. Because I just have so many ideas that sometimes when I have a new idea, I'm like, no, I can't do that idea because I have all these other ideas first that I feel like they gotta wait in a line. Like they're in a queue and I have to respect the queue that they're in. But by the time I get to the idea that I was really excited about when I added it to the list, I'm just not as excited about it anymore. Even though it's a great idea and I love it, I should do things when I'm excited about them. And I think that I'm going to end with that goal because I don't want to make too many goals that it's just overwhelming, especially with all the other goals. I haven't actually done the art part of this video yet. I don't even know what I want to draw yet. We both don't know what I'm doing, like, or what we're working on, but I hope it looks cool. Like, I hope it looks nice. And let me know what some of your art goals are for 2026 down in the comments. But if you want to tell me other goals that you guys have for yourself outside of art, please let me know too. You're not just an artist, you have other things. I think I kind of want to take ice skating classes this year. But yeah, tell me any goals. Anything you want to share with me, let me know. I would love to hear what y'all got going on in your life. I'll leave y'all with that. I hope you guys have a really good year. I hope I have a good year. I hope that your year is full of love. And I hope this year is full of yourself. Is that corny? Did I just get corny? I appreciate you if you made it to this part of the video. I appreciate you for sitting through all of my yapping. And I just appreciate you for sitting with me. I hope you have a good day or night wherever you are. And I'll see you guys next month.